welcome back to my channel. My name is Pi. For those that do not know, if you're new here, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I drop a new video. Make sure y'all smash that like button on your way in and leave some comments down below. And let's go ahead and get into Traitors UK Season 2, Episode 9. So the episode starts with the Traitors. They're in the turret. And Andrew has just made his first murder. And he's like, it feels weird. I don't know. I got to kind of get used to it. Harry's like, oh, do about 3-4 more. You'll get used to it. I'm so used to it. I said, damn, Harry is crazy. But he ain't lying. So next the camera pans over to breakfast. And the first two people to walk in are Charlotte and Evie. And they're talking about Paul, of course, being banished last night. And Charlotte's like, you know what? I feel like Paul was keeping me safe. Like, that was the only reason why I was still lasting so long in the game. But now it's kind of got me worried a little bit because he's not here keeping me safe anymore. And I'm like, duh. When you were trying to go for him last episode, I'm like, if you really think that is the reason, that was the reason you said at the round table. But if you really think that's the reason why the man is keeping you here, why are you going for him? Let everybody else do it. You got to think strategically, baby. So then Charlotte decides that she wants to bring up the fact that she feels like it was really strange that Jasmine was gung-ho for Jazz. But then when it came time to vote, she wrote down Paul. And I'm like, of course she's going to write down Paul. Everybody at the table was writing down Paul. Why would she not write down Paul? Hello? I don't want to be the odd man out. But I will say in UK, they don't be caring about the odd man out. I think that's more of a gamer's mentality. If you watch Big Brother and Survivor, I don't know if it's Survivor, but those game shows, like, you don't want to be the odd man out. I've heard Sandra, who played Survivor and won twice, say it. She's like, I don't want to be on the wrong side of the votes. So that's what's in my mind. So when they say that, I'm like, I'm voting with the herd, baby. Why would I not? So anyways, she feels like it's strange, but of course, you know, she's not a gamer, so I get it. So we see Jazz, Molly, and Andrew walk in, and one of them says that they're talking about, you know, how Harry got Paul out last night. And they're like, yeah, Harry is a traitor. I think it was Molly. Harry is a traitor hunter. And for a split second, I thought she had caught on. I thought she was going to say, you know, that was very suspicious. But she didn't. I was like, uh-oh. But she didn't say it. So then Charlotte decides to tell Harry about Jasmine and how she switched up. And this is the moment I'm like, okay, here, Charlotte's on a mission early this morning. She's ready to start planting her seeds so she can get Jasmine up out of here. And as soon as she gets done planting her seeds, who walks through the door? Jasmine. And then followed behind her is Ross. And Ross is nervous. Ross is like, I know people are going to be looking at me because I was 100% on Paul's side because I really thought that he was a faithful. So I got my work cut out for me. They're going to be coming for me. So it's Jazz, Charlie, and Zach are the last three that are not there. So everybody's trying to figure out who do y'all think it's going to be. And they're like, well, Jazz would be the smart choice. No, Zach would be the smart choice to get rid of. And we get a flashback into the turret and we get to see who they decided to murder. And they decided to murder Charlie. Charlie does not make it to breakfast. And Harry says, like, this could pin it back to Charlotte because her and Charlotte were best friends. We're going to try to make it seem like Charlotte murdered her best friend. So once Charlotte realizes that Charlie is gone, she's sad. Molly is getting sad and a little emotional, and we see her in her confessional, and she's like, I just don't get it. She wasn't a threat to the Traitors. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So while they're at breakfast, she's saying the same thing to Harry, and she's like, she wasn't a threat unless Charlotte was recruited. And he was like, you think that's what happened? Harry real slick. So Claudia walks in and she lets them know that it's Charlie. Charlie has been murdered. She will not be returning to breakfast. However, you all got Paul out last night, and that was 2 traitors, 2 days in a row. Are you guys ready for today? Are you ready for the mission? And they're like, yes. She doesn't really go into details about the mission. It's got me a little worried. So we see them in the kitchen, and Jasmine is trying to figure out, how many traitors do y'all think there is? Like, I'm not trying to say there's more than 2. And Evie is like, yeah, there's definitely more than 1. So Jazz says that he has a little piece of evidence that he wants to share. And everybody's looking like, okay, well, what's going on? He's like, but I ain't telling everybody. Like, I don't trust all y'all. And he tells Molly that he would like to talk to her, like, off in the cut a little later. And she's like, oh, okay. So we see Jazz, and he's talking to Evie and Zach. And he lets them know, listen, I still think that it's Ross, especially after last night. Ross was 100% saying that Paul was the faithful. And I got some other tea. A few days ago, Harry came to me. No, Paul came to me and told me what I told Harry. And I'm like, now, why would you tell me that? Why wouldn't you bring it up in front of the group? Unless you are a traitor. So he's finally letting them know. And they're like, no. Evie, she's like, well, I don't think that it's Harry. Like, that's probably around the time when he was, like, close with Paul. And he didn't know that Paul was a traitor. So he just told Paul because, they were cool back then. And Ross is, I'm getting all these names confused. Jazz is like, okay. He's like, let me zip my lips and keep this information close to me because they're not ready yet. So we see Charlotte, and she's in another room talking about how Jasmine keeps coming for her. And the camera pans over to the hallway, and you got Jasmine and Molly in the hallway eavesdropping, listening to everything that she's saying. Jasmine is like, this woman is obsessed with me, and my name is cemented in her freaking brain. So Jasmine busts in the room like, what's up? What's going on in here? Everything good? What y'all talking about? And they're like, oh, okay, come on in. Because we need to talk to you anyways. We ain't here talking about you. So Charlotte's like, you know what? I just think it's kind of weird how you were going for Jazz, then all of a sudden it's Paul that's name is on your slate. I don't get it. And Jasmine's like, well, I mean, I always had suspicion of Paul. I was like kind of like 50-50. But basically, if I see that everybody is voting for Paul and I have my suspicion on Paul, even if I don't have my suspicion on Paul, I'm voting for Paul. Make sense, anyone? So Molly jumps in and she's like, but you know what? You would be a really good recruitment to Charlotte. She was like, you're very strong-minded. I could see, you being a traitor, and you are also like close to Paul. So Charlotte is like, I feel like I'm being targeted. Charlie, my best friend in the game, gets murdered all of a sudden, and everybody is coming for me. They feel like I would murder my best friend. Like, this is some BS. And Jasmine is like, well, do you want me to like give you my reasons why? And Charlotte's like, no, baby, we're going to talk about this in front of everybody. Hold that, table it, and we'll discuss this at the round table. Because no, we're not going to have this he said, she said. No, we'll talk about it at the round table. So they're off to the cabin for the mission. And if you have seen season 1 or other franchise, then you know about the cabin in the woods. So they're like, Claudia says that this is her little cabin, her little hotel that, she goes to. But it's a cabin in the woods. So, of course, they're a little skeptical. So when they pull up, they're like, this doesn't look like a nice, cozy cabin from the outside. But it also doesn't look bad from the outside either, right? So they get out the cars, and Claudia proceeds to tell them about the mission. So they have 30 minutes to go inside this cabin to collect the gold There's 8,000 pounds in there that's possible to be found for collection. One shield, and they have 30 minutes to do it. If anybody does not come out of the cabin, that's 1,000 pounds per person that will be deducted off of the money that the gold that they do find. So they walk in and they're like, oh, this is nice. Okay, I can do this. I can deal with this. Cool. And it does. It looks nice. So immediately it gives you the escape room vibes. How many people have done escape rooms, y'all? I love doing escape rooms. It's so much fun. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. So like, okay, y'all, look for clues. And you know, if you've ever been in an escape room, you're looking through everything. If there's clothes in there, you're looking through the pockets. You're looking up on the ceiling. You're pulling curtains down, whatever. You're looking anywhere and everywhere for clues. So there's a tablecloth over the table. They lift it up and they're like, oh my God. So they finally found the instructions. It lets them know that they have to escape through this tunnel. They have to collect the gold. 5 people have to go down in the tunnel, and the rest of the people are going to stay up top. They're going to have a walkie-talkie, and they're going to direct them on how to get through, how to navigate through the tunnel and get the gold to get out. So Ross is like, okay, I see the lights right here. I'll go ahead and I'll do the lights. They're putting on their goggles. They're putting on their they're not work gear, but you know, their underground gear. So they get nasty and dirty. They won't be in their clothes. And let me just say this. Again, it's from a gamer standpoint. I'm not a gamer, but I've been watching a lot of games lately, game shows. When they first walked in, I was like, oh my God, y'all put y'all hoodies on your head. Put your hoodie on your head. Because they in there just like this. Girl, if you don't cover your hair, you do not want nothing touching you. Like, they had no clue what they were in store for. So, with that being said, Ross is in charge of the lights. So, he puts his hands on the lights, and as soon as he does it, he's like, oh God, the lights go out inside. So when you press the lights inside the cabin so that they have lights down in the tunnel, there's no lights inside of the cabin. However, you have to use the walkie-talkie to tell them where to go in the tunnel. So how are we going to do this? Long story short, because I'm not going to go into the whole thing because it's gross. There's like frogs and centipedes, and it's just disgusting. So they go in the tunnel. They're going to get the stuff. They're directing them, letting them know, go to the right. You'll see some gold here. Unscrew this, do that. All of a sudden, some liquidy stuff it just squirts and they're like, oh my God. Ross is like, oh shit. He's like, yo, man, some nasty liquid shit just hit me. I'm freaking grossed out. So his hands come off of the freaking lights, and then the tunnel, they're like, we can't see anything. It was just total chaos. And so they're like, which way do we go? Which way do we go? These people are getting sprayed with, I don't know what. I don't know if it's cat piss, cow piss, pig piss, horse piss. I don't know what it is, but it's disgusting. And it's just going everywhere. And not one person thought about covering up. I would have grabbed a sheet, anything, and covered my damn head. So finally, he turns the lights back on. They're like, you know, go this way, go that way to get the gold. Harry is on a mission. Like, Harry is really executing pretty much all these dang on missions, right? And we see Charlotte come to a point where she's passing a tunnel, and like I guess at the top of the tunnel, it said something about a shield. And she's like, oh, it says something about a shield. There might be a shield in there. So she's looking for the shield, and there was some skeleton bones and nasty stuff. And she's like, So she's digging in there. She can't find it. Andrew done got claustrophobic. He had to come up out the tunnel. He done went back up to the top. He's like, y'all, I can't take it. As soon as he get up there, more fluid just comes spraying in there. He's like, oh, Lord. He covering his damn head. And Claudia's like, only 5 people five people need to be in the tunnel. 5 people need to be in the tunnel. So Jazz switches out with Andrew and he goes back in. Well, he goes into the tunnel because him and Andrew swap out. Now Andrew is inside of the cabin helping them out. Harry is getting all the gold. And they're looking for some gold in like some freaking rotten vegetables and fruit. They say the crap smells. Not to mention, up in the cabin, Claudia is throwing freaking nasty rotten fruit and it smells horrible. It's all over their head and in their hair, all over their body. It's just disgusting, y'all. And so Charlotte is digging through all this nasty stuff and looking for the gold. And Jasmine in her confession was like, girl, I did not know Charlotte was cut out for this, but I'm glad she is because I ain't. And I'm like, that would be me. First of all, I would never went in there because it's gross. So after Harry has collected the last little gold, gold, that's what it is. He's going past the tunnel and he sees where it says it's a shield in there. And he's like, hey, did anybody get this shield? Nobody answers because everybody's freaking out. There's centipedes and nasty mashed up fruit, cold water, all kinds of just gross shit. Just make me want to vomit. But anyway, so he looks into the tunnel and sees the skeleton and he's like, is that a freaking shield? So he grabs the shield. When he comes out, he's trying to secretly put it up. But Molly sees him and he's like, don't tell nobody. So Molly was like, oh my God. I just saw Harry get a shield. But I trust him, so I'm not going to say anything. So they all go out through the well. Then the people who are in the cabin, they have to go out through the same way. So they have to go through the tunnel and come up through the well. And Evie is like, I'll press the lights, y'all. Y'all go ahead. I'm going to stay up here and press the lights. So everybody goes out. They make it out in time, and except for Evie. So Claudia was like, you all collected all of the money except for you lost £1,000 for Evie. And there was a shield that's found. Would anybody like to admit to it? You don't have to. Harry looking like... I ain't saying nothing. So they're on their way back to the castle and they're talking about, the shield. Of course, nobody's going to own up to it. Harry says, I know Charlotte saw it. Boy, you know you got that shield. You know you got that shield. So once they make it back to the cabin, Ross, Evie, Charlotte, and Jazz are having a little game talk before the round table. And Ross says that, he thinks that Harry could be a traitor. And Evie is like, he's definitely smart enough to be one. So Jazz, like, his antennas are going up, like, is this my moment? And then Evie's like, but, I don't think that he's a traitor. I don't think that at all. And Jazz is like, in his confessional, he's like, I have to be very mindful and strategic of who and how I'm going to tell people about this information that I have because, you said the wrong thing and you out. So we see Jasmine, Molly, Harry, and Andrew eating. And not Harry, but Andrew is trying to figure out, did anybody ever admit to having the shield? And they was like, no. And Andrew said, well, didn't somebody say that they saw Charlotte get the shield or see the shield? And Harry's like, yeah, I said it. He was like, well, did she get it? And he's like, I don't know if she got it or not. I love Harry. He's so funny. So Jasmine asks Andrew, who is he suspect of? And he's like, I'm still not 100% sure, but I still have my suspicions out on Jazz. And we see him in his confessional say, Jazz has it out for him. So he's going to put like a little bit of suspicion on him, keep planting seeds on him, and stirring the pot just a little bit because I ain't going to let you just come for me and don't think I'm not going to come back for you. So this is a moment when I was a little bit worried and kind of on the fence. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know how y'all felt about this moment. But Harry is talking to Jazz and Zach, and he whispers to them that he found the shield. And in my mind, I'm like, ugh, I know that he doesn't know that Jazz knows what he told Paul. I know he doesn't know that. But I don't know why he trusts those two. I don't know. But anyway, so he tells them that he has the shield. And Zach is like, oh no. He was like, yeah, I didn't tell anybody. He was like, because what if the traitors tried to kill me tonight and then I show up to breakfast in the morning and boom, their plan is, blown out the water. I'm like, why would you tell them? Why wouldn't you? I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that was a good idea for him to tell them that? I was 50-50 on it. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all think about Harry's little plan with the shield. Because the reason he wants to do that is he wants to recruit. So he thinks this would be a good way for him to recruit, but throw people off by saying that the traitors tried to murder him and it didn't work because he had the shield and nobody knew he had the shield. But it's like, why would they go for you? Because nobody was really coming for you. That's my whole thought. Like, why would they pick you? Which, I mean, they pick random people all the time. But I was just like, this could go either way. So like I said, y'all just let me know what y'all think about that. So it's time for them to go to the round table. And Claudia walks in, lets them know that today they have collected 5,000 pounds added to the prize pot. And the prize pot is at, is it 65? Yeah, it's 65. So the prize pot is at 65,150 pounds. It's getting up there. Y'all getting up there. And she just reminds them of what the game is all about. You got to get out these traitors. If at the end of the game, if at even one traitor is in the midst, they take all the money. So who wants to start tonight? And Zach is like, I'll go. Because I feel like Paul, right before he got out, he recruited someone. And Char's like, it was me. You think it was me, right? So I started thinking, who did Paul get into it with and have words with the most? And Zach was like, I don't know. You tell me who. And she looks to Jazz and says, you. Paul was getting into it with you. Not saying that makes you a traitor, but I'm just pointing out the obvious. But then also, Jasmine, I feel like you were recruited. She says you were going for Jazz so hard at the round table. And then all of a sudden you changed it to Paul. So again, I feel like we have heard this explanation in this story 1,000 times. But Jasmine is like, listen, I had my suspicions on Paul, okay? But I was more suspicious of Jazz. However, when things started leaning towards Paul, I was like, let me vote for Paul. I don't understand why this is so hard for people to understand. And then Zach decides that he wants to tell her that she never said anything to him about Paul. Baby, I don't have to tell you everything that comes to my mind. Are you the boss of me? Did we sign a contract? Is we in an agreement? I don't have to tell you everything that comes to my mind. Just because I didn't say it with you to you does not mean that I didn't think it. He's like, you never said that. You never said it. You're lying. What? Again, I think I asked y'all this last review. Who is surprised that Zach is still here? Because I am so surprised that Zach is still here. Zach be doing the most. And nobody never banishes him. Jesus. They're not even really suspecting him anymore. He used to be a shield. Now he's just annoying. So Charlotte interrupts Jasmine as she's explaining herself. And Jasmine's like, excuse me, did I interrupt you when you were talking? Don't be interrupting me. And Charlotte's like, I'm sorry, but I was just saying, when somebody's trying to come for me and tell me that I'm not a faithful, I'm going to get defensive. I'm like, oh, girl, you better not get defensive, child. You better take it on down. a notch, because when you get defensive, things start going left. And this is the perfect time for Molly to speak her little piece, which she hardly ever speaks at the round table. So it was kind of nice to hear Molly, you know, have a little opinion or whatnot. But I mean, she was so off. she was so off. I mean, it's the whole Charlie got murdered, and she was like, I would never recruit Charlie. Why would I try to recruit Charlie? She couldn't even like compose herself at a round table. Like, I don't think that Charlie would be a great traitor. Like, no, if I was a traitor, I would not, like, no. Let's come up with something else, because that's not it. So then Molly has another point where she says, and you know, Jazz, I just think it's real suspicious how you want to have these private conversations instead of just talking about, you know, whatever you got to say in front of the group. Jazz is like, I can understand that. However, you know, you just can't be talking and saying anything to everybody, anywhere. Like, you have to be cautious about the things that you're saying. And surprisingly, Andrew decides that he wants to jump in and defend Jazz. He's like, well, you know, I do that too. So I kind of understand and see where he's coming from. Like, there's certain people that I trust and I don't trust. So I'm like really careful with the information that I put out there and who I put it out there to. And Jazz was like, yes, thank you. I said, look at Andrew trying to get on his good side. He's still coming for you, Andrew. But that was a good try. Good try. You get an A for effort. And of course, before Claudia decides to cut them off, we see Zach just not understanding why Jasmine voted for Paul. He's telling her that she is a liar. She wasn't suspicious of him. She never told him about this. This is news to him. Baby, listen. If I said it, I meant it. I said what I said. Period. And Claudia's like, enough. It's time to vote. So everybody votes for Charlotte except for Molly and Harry. Molly voted for Jazz and Harry voted for, who did Harry vote for? Not Harry, Zach. Zach voted for Jasmine. So Claudia lets Charlotte know that you have the most votes and you have been banished from this castle forever. But before you leave my castle, please step into the circle of truth and let us know, are you a traitor or a faithful? And of course, she says she's a faithful. She's a faithful. She leaves. She tells them good luck. And everybody's just, of course, sitting around looking dumbfounded. And Harry's like, I mean, she was acting like a traitor. She was acting like a traitor. I'm like, oh, I guess we can't get 3 out in a row, right? So, and some faithfuls have to leave. So that's just how the cookie crumbles. Your time was up, Charlotte. Bye-bye. So, Ross, Harry, Evie, and Andrew are having an interesting conversation in the kitchen. And Ross is like kind of just scratching his head. Because remember, Ross thought that Paul was a faithful. And he's like, you know, he's going back thinking about these recruitments. And he's like, it would really make him seem like a hero if he recruited Miles, then got him out, recruited Jazz, then got him out, because they think that Jazz is a traitor. Well, he thinks that Jazz is the traitor. And he's like, but then if he got him out, then he's a hero again. And Harry says, I mean, he's done it twice before. Eva's like, but that's what people say about you. And Harry's like, what about me? And she was like, you know, how you got Paul out, like you did it so masterfully. And Harry's like, well, no, see, the thing about me is I go off of facts. And people, they just be overthinking. And I'm like, I don't know if that was a good comeback, Harry. But luckily, Andrew was there. And he was like, how about those 49ers? He changed that subject so fast for Harry. Harry better thank that man. Because he literally was like, don't y'all think that Jazz's reaction was weird? And they just left the whole question alone with Harry. They went on to talking about how strange it was, how Jasmine was reacted, and how she could be a traitor. So the camera then pans over to Andrew and Jazz and a couple other people sitting down talking. right before the clock strikes, and Andrew was like, why are you so suspicious of Roz? And he's like, he's playing this cool, calm, collected character, and I'm just not buying it. Like, I'm not here for it. He was like, but he didn't say this to Andrew. He was like, I'm also still on Harry. So the clock chimes, and it is time for the traitors to meet in the turret. They're in there, and they're trying to decide, are they going to seduce or murder? So Andrew is like, I mean, murder's been working out for us just great. Why don't we stay on this murdering streak? And Harry's like, because I got to show you something. He pulls out his shield. And Andrew is like, oh. He was like, yeah, so what I was thinking is we can seduce someone tonight. We can act like the traitors tried to murder me all the while we've seduced someone. And Andrew's like, okay, I see where you're going with this. But this is my only problem with this, and y'all give me your opinions. If we go through with this plan, it kind of makes it look like Harry is really, truly a faithful. If, in fact, the traitors tried to murder him and they weren't successful, right? If people believe this theory, that's like, oh, so Harry has to be a traitor because they tried to murder him, but he is a faithful. But a smart person would be like, especially Jazz or Zach, who he told the plan to, would be like, I don't know about that because you told us this. Then this happens. It's giving you're pulling the strings. You are the traitor. That's what I think. What y'all think? Because I definitely feel like this is tricky. So anyways, now they have decided that they are going to seduce a faithful because Claudia came in and told them that they can seduce a faithful. Well, actually, Claudia didn't come in and tell them that. They already knew it. So they go down a very short list. And they said Molly and Evie ain't gonna do it. So we can go for Ross. We can go for Jasmine. I don't think they said Zach's name. I wonder why they didn't bring up Zach. And so another selling point that Harry said to Andrew, which I thought was smart, he said, if we get out, if we seduce someone, now we have 3. When someone gets banished tomorrow night, if it's a faithful, which it could be Jazz or Jasmine, now it's 3 and 3. We kind of got like the upper hand. We're even, but we got the upper hand because we're traitors. We know more than they know. And Andrew's like, okay, I like that. Like, he is like, okay, Harry, teach me a couple things because that's exactly what Harry's doing. Harry is a little Paul right now, even better though. So they have decided that they are going to seduce Ross. Claudia comes in and asks them, who are they going to seduce? And they say Ross. She said, oh, another man, like in the olden days. I said, oh, Claudia, come through with the reads. Yes, not like the olden days, honey. Where's the women's? I don't see no women's up in here. Where's the ladies? We haven't had a ladies since Ash left. Where is all the single ladies? It's giving sexist. I'm just playing. I'm joking. So anyways, they have decided that they're going to pick Ross. Claudia takes the recruitment letter. She takes it to the infamous room. And Ross opens the door and he's like, oh, shit. I didn't want this, man. He reads the letter and it says that we want to recruit you as a traitor because you're so smart and trustworthy. He says, shit, they must don't know me. So now he's going through it in his mind like, Lord, do I take it? What do I do? Because I ain't forgot about mother or mom. They killed mom. And I haven't forgotten about that. However, I hear mom's voice going off telling me, go all the way, son. And then I don't want to get murdered if I don't accept. I think I'm going to have to accept it. And for once, they don't leave us on a cliffhanger. And we see Ross walking down the hallway with his cloak on, hoodie down, head down, hoodie on, head down. He walks into the turret. They have their hoodies on, their heads down. Andrew and Harry are in there. Ross takes his hood off. They take theirs off, and he's like, oh, God, no. He's giving them hugs and dapping them up, and, you know, the same reaction everybody always has. They can't believe who it is. And now Andrew is like, oh, yeah, I was recruited. Because he's like, oh, my God, it's you. And he's like, yeah, I was recruited. He's like, oh, how long ago? He said, not too long ago, like 2 days ago. I just got recruited. And Ross is like, oh, wow. He was like, that's crazy. You know, I kind of felt like I always was going to get murdered. Like, I kind of want to know, like, what were your thoughts behind the different murders? And Harry says, who? I can tell you. And he was like, Diane. Who? Harry said, oh, Diane, she got a little bit too brave and a little bit too smart and a little bit too cocky. We had to put her in her place. When I tell you, you could see his blood boiling. Ross was big mad. He was like, I have to get revenge for my mom's death. If I have the opportunity, I will avenge her. So that was the end of the episode, y'all. What did y'all think about the episode? I really enjoyed it. I feel like these episodes just keep getting better and better and better. And we are getting closer to the end. So now we are back to 3 traitors. I feel like this has been like the most traitors I've ever seen. It's like a revolving door. So anyways, yeah, now we got our 3 traitors again. There will not be any murders tonight because Ross was recruited. And I guess we don't really have anything to think about because we don't have a cliffhanger, which is kind of good. So yeah, y'all make sure before you get up out of here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share the video, leave some comments down below, and I will see y'all in the next one. Okay, bye.